Hello, 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 folks. Well, we're seated. That's the start. If it wasn't for some long distance tutoring, I might not have even got to sit properly. I've got to learn how to do this on my own, folks, and a lot of people would be relieved instead of me bugging them. But we're into a serious topic today. Last first video was the whitewashing. My daughter on Valentine's Day, she's non-political at all. She asked for a mouthful. She said, "Oh, I'd like to see your first video." Yeah, right. We'll see what her comments are. That's my dad. Anyway, our van plan. Now we're getting into the tricky stuff. We want to be able to hook the villages together, the white villages. Sorry I said that forbidden word white, but I just say it because that's what we are. We're not purple, blue, yellow, black, orange, and all those colors can be proud of theirs. We are what we are. Now, the white villages of Ontario are the last vestige of Anglo-Saxon and German-Canadian. I don't know how many Ukrainian Canadians, but the bottom line, check the phone books in the small villages. They still play softball in the summers, hardball occasionally, and hockey, free hockey for the kids. So those villages still maintain traditions of our forefathers, basically. It's the last vestige we've got. Now, why am I talking so desperate? It's not hatred for other races at all. I don't blame other people for wanting to come to the land of milk and honey. But where are we supposed to go? Where do we go? Center Island, it's crowded. I mean, so we're going to get these village folks to understand that we're here. Our van plan. Now we're getting into it. Okay, pressure groups. You know, way back, 20 years ago, thinking of having British Canada Party knocking on doors, and no, it would have split the Conservative vote. We don't want to do that. We want to be a pressure group for our views that enough is enough on multi-cult immigration. We're fed up with it. And back to Legion Halls, curling clubs. I had someone this week, I didn't even know they paid attention to the video. And as he's heading out the door, he said, "Oh, by the way, I caught the video." And John, it's absolutely true. When we're having a beer at the Legion or at the curling club, we point blank start muttering about the multicult invasion. One-on-one, maybe two or three at the table. But as soon as there's more than that, the fear of God. Be called a racist. Let them throw whatever they want. You're not going to be fired from your jobs because I'm taking the heat, and I'm not going to be fired from my job as long as I watch my language and no more stronger than the Toronto Sun editorial, whatever. So what is the key to the van plan? Well, on our editorials on our webpage, it really spells it out. The bottom line is, say we pull up 3 or 4 vans, 2 vans, 4 or 5 people, 2 basic signs, 2 signs. One says, "Keep our villages majority white." Keep our villages majority white. And the other sign says BritishPeoplesLeague.com. So I'll steer them to these web pages and these videos. Keep our villages majority white. And do you know why I put the word majority in there? If we just said in the sign, "Keep our villages white," why, one of your new Canadian multi-cult type would go running to the Human Rights Commission and say, "Well, he's got a sign that says keep our villages white. And that makes me feel threatened." So we put the word majority in. We would like to keep our villages majority white. So where do people yap the most in central and eastern Ontario townships and the villages? Where do they yap the most? At the post office, in front of the post office when they're getting their mail. Even though they've been discouraged from opening your mail in the lobby anymore, it's almost as if they wanted to break up the neighborhood local. You're supposed to open your mail at home. However, people still talk and meet out front. So hey, we pull up 3 or 4 guys and gals with those 2 simple signs, maybe 1 or 2 others. We be seen, okay? Especially by the town gossips, the gossipers, just before they head for Tim Hortons to open their mail. Did you know there's people down there with signs saying exactly what we talk about Friday nights when we think no one is listening in? Keep our villages majority white. Is that racist? I mean, we want to keep our culture, our heritage. I don't know if Muslims play softball. I doubt it. We want to keep our heritage. So the bottom line, we got to let the public know. So we pull up a flash picket. Oh no, we're not copying the flash mobs in the States when they're hijacking goodies, fur coats, etc. No. But flash picket. By that I mean we pull up. We're only half an hour in front of the post office in, say, Brighton, Ontario. Half an hour in front of the post office in, say, Belleville. All the villages are named in the editorial, BritishPeoplesLeague.com. Just check out our editorial. All of the different villages and the townships. And we're not going to reveal which townships we hit first. Not at all. There was some opposition a few years ago. I had a little wingding on July 1st, 1989. And in the opposition blogs, whatever you want to call them, they pointed out the only reason they couldn't protest early enough against white people gathering to celebrate Sir John A. Macdonald's founding of Canada. But they couldn't protest. One, we were in a rural setting. And two, we didn't give enough advance notice. So that's our flash picket. Only the drivers of the vans are going to know which villages we're going to hit first. And we'll be gone after half an hour, 45 minutes, after 20, 25 locals have picked up their mail. Well, you know what small towns are like. Of course they talk. And they're going to spread the word that there's people out there who do care, and they look prim and proper, not like a bunch of yahoos and a bunch of idiots. So that's the plan. And we want to scoot before opposition. Somebody phones up the local multi-cult, maybe pharmacy owners or who knows. And they're all clean cut. Again, I don't blame them. But you don't see British Canadians or German Canadians rushing to be citizens of Pakistan, do you? You don't see British Canadians, German Canadians, European Canadians rushing to be citizens of South Africa, do you? We've got to do something to keep our heritage. And it has to be done physically. And we do have young people who are keen on doing this. And we've got older guys like I think that's gray hair, to keep them in tab. It'll be just those simple signs. As the webpage appeals for a bit of hamburger and gas money, I can't keep paying for everything. We've had a few contribute over the years, and that's terrific. I know in the American patriotic circles they have a lot of infighting. I guess one of their group leaders said the trouble is we're all fighting for the same buck. Well, this boy doesn't whine and cry about it. It would be nice if there's donations, and we will account, yes, every slip spent on gas and hamburgers for the young gals and gals carrying the signs. And also some protocol will be in front of the post offices. That gives the message, because the post offices, of course, represent the federal government, don't they? So it indirectly gives a message as to what we think of third world immigration. So also, on the sidewalk, it is a public sidewalk, so we just neatly go around in a circle, stay out of everyone's way, and there'll be no squabble because we're not going to stay long, are we? And frankly, the first little comment, the first little problem, and off we may go. So there's always a hitch. Last week it was the hat and the hat. And what else was last week's fun and games? The telephone kept ringing. So I actually bought a small new clock so I wouldn't have to squint my eyes to see the scope here. Sounded like a mouse going off. After I took the first computer course 10 years ago, I still couldn't figure what the hell a mouse was. So those who are trying to help me learn how to do these videos on my own, it's going to take a while, not technically minded. But let's get serious. Again, I talk casual because I don't want any viewers thinking this is redneck stuff or rough stuff. No, it's simple picketing. Yes, it's going to ruffle some feathers. Well, too bad. Our feathers are ruffled. Again, if you could just have a tape recording in any Legion Hall on a Friday night, or any curling club on a Saturday afternoon, coast to coast in the white villages. And the white villages are still ours, basically. However, to be polite and fair, you've got two convenience stores that are run by, how can I say it diplomatically? Their ancestry isn't British or European. And you'll have a couple of gas stations. Oh, they're all very polite and quiet. Well, sure, they're feeding off of us, aren't they? They're not stupid. They're not rocking the boat. They're not like the wild third worlders in the cities, where the constant shootings, etc. You know, I don't even need to educate any of you out there as to what's going on. Everyone knows what's going on with eyeballs. But people are worried about losing their jobs, etc., etc. Well, on that, I really am grinning. Even in a local area, if people knew in their offices how many people have been in touch with me and say keep up the good work, we've got far more people out there who are sympathetic than anyone would believe. But we're going to be careful. We're not going to be snowballed by any hysteria. We don't have members of the British People's League. We don't want members. We don't have meetings. We may have get-togethers. That's a harmless word. But the word meetings, oh, meetings, oh, no, get-togethers with friends, not members, just friends, casual. So if the odd opposition member out there might catch this video, you're wasting your breath, because this old boy, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, and I know every trick in the book. So we're going to be polite, nice, sweet, bright, and beautiful. It almost sounds like our race. But if we're proud of our race, that's racist. No more. We can be proud of our race. I don't care if somebody calls me a racist. Go right ahead. But the bottom line, people are afraid of what others will say. And the irony is that the person who will say, well, gee whiz, we got to watch it. They don't realize how many people are sympathetic to what we're saying. Why wouldn't they be sympathetic? Our heritage is being squashed. What, you think I don't like people? I mean, what the hell do I care? Chinese, Korean, black, I mean, they're all humans trying to get by in this world of life, and the best place they can. But our backs have been pushed against the wall, and we really are fed up to the teeth. Throughout history, when our peoples have had their backs pushed against the wall, things do get ugly. Well, not as long as this boy's at the helm of things here. We're going to keep it smooth. We're not going to be provoked by any ancient provocateurs. Oh, why don't you do this, John? Why don't you do that? Oh, by the way, good place to slip in the contact point again for emails. And BritishCanada@gmail.com. Get your pens out, boys and girls. BritishCanada@gmail.com. And our first video has been well received. I'm really pleased. I thought there'd be a fair bit of ridicule about me playing with my hat, but I guess those that know John Beattie expect anything. But well received, some great comments, etc. And while we put that plug in for ourselves, now this is the first American plug we're going to give. And they're cool. They're talking my language, our language. I say our for friends in the blind list that we have. They're not off the deep end, but they use that forbidden word white. Well, too bad. Get used to it, okay? Get used to it. Get used to it. WhiteNewsNow.com. WhiteNewsNow.com. And then, of course, our umbilical cord with the motherland. And I think also the fact that they don't push political parties. They're like us. We want to be a pressure group, a legal lobby force. A legal lobby force. I don't know where the hell I'm supposed to put my eyeballs, folks, so I'm wandering around looking at the webcam and blah, 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 but a legal lobby force. So again, give the plug for our British contacts. Candor Magazine. Candor, CANDOUR.org.uk. Candor, CANDOUR.org.uk. Okay, and to the contacts there who have told me this is all easy, well, good for you, mates over in Blighty. It ain't easy for this guy. My right arm's got his twitch. It's funny in life how the simple things can be easy for some people and not for the other. That's why we've all got different approaches. When's the van plan going to start? Hey, you can start it in your village. You don't need us. We've got the outline on our webpage. You can start it. George down the street. Well, maybe there is a George in Brighton, Ontario. Maybe there is a George in Maddock, Ontario. Maybe there's a George in Northland, Ontario. You go for it. We will too. But we want at least have hamburgers to treat the boys and girls who help hold the signs up, etc. But when we go, it's not going to be announced ages ahead of time. No. It's going to be a Saturday morning. Hey, let's do it. We got 3 van rentals here, and we're going. And we're going to hit the certain villages with a nice, sweet, gentle picketing that your grandmother wouldn't even be afraid of. Matter of fact, she might be pleased. And on the music bit, very difficult decision. I love that background music, but if it's the older generation, the young get turned off, and if it's the young stuff, the old get turned off. So being diplomatic, we won't have music. You just hear the golden voice of yours truly. Well, I pretty well covered it, and we will not pin a date as to the next return. We're going to do 2 YouTube videos per month. It'll be depending on the availability. We all have different schedules, and I do have some advisors eventually that might even get me trained in this. So that's the scoop. Keep an eye on our webpage. We change the editorials often, and we give a lot of news there. Okie doke. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll be at you our very next YouTube. The title of this week's show, BPL, Our Van Plan. Thanks for tuning in.